Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Nikolai. Today, I'm here with Devil. You may also know him as Devil X. I appreciate you making some time for me, man. How are you?
I can't complain too much. Going pretty good.
Nice. Glad to hear it. So, you've got a very interesting name. I think it's pretty badass. I want to know, why exactly did you pick that name for your character? Or what's the story behind it?
Oh, when I first came to Emerald Dream, I tend to be a behind-the-scenes player, and we were all in Discord one day, and at the time I was in the guild WSB, and I was on a priest named Permian, and I tend to be very manipulative, like I said, and somebody in Discord just happened to say, this guy's the devil, and the name kind of stuck, and I just went with it.
That's awesome. On a side note, dude, your Transmog is insane. You look so badass in this stuff, man, and that mount's pretty rare too, right?
Yeah, it's Fire Lens drop. Appreciate it.
So the crazy, actually, not to get too off track, but I ran Firelands a long time ago, and I didn't realize how rare this mount was. It actually dropped. It was me and 3 other guys, and I thought it wasn't that rare or whatever. I passed on it, and then after the guy won it, he was like, "Dude, this is like one of the rarest in the game." So every time I see this mount, I'm like, "Oh man, could have had it. Could have had it."
I find myself to be I like collecting the rare mounts. I've got Invincible. I've got the Swift White Hot Strider. A lot of the really low drop percentage mounts I already have.
That's awesome. And so it sounds like you've been playing for a little while, and we got your guild banner right there to the side of us. You're currently the guild master of Bellatorum Unita. Is that right?
Correct.
What is, I guess, the origin of that, or like, does that mean something else, or?
Bellatorum Unita is Latin for Warriors United. The name came about in 2012 when it was founded on the server Echo Isles. I was a part of a guild that was ran by a friend of mine called Nothing But Trouble, and the guild ended up going downhill when the original GM returned, and the guy was a douchebag, and I figured, if he could be a GM, I could be a GM, and so I founded a guild, but I really didn't know what I wanted to call it, and my wife at the time was like, you've got all these officers from different guilds flocking to yours, why don't you do something about, a name like, people uniting or something like that. And so we kind of played with it for a while, and eventually I just ended up typing Warriors United into Google Translate and translating it into Latin, and you get Bellatorum Unita.
Boom. Now, you've been in quite a few guilds. Let me just kind of explain a little bit for the people watching. So you were previously the GM of a guild called Devil's Den. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And you were also the GM of the Alliance Empire on Emerald Dream and Sargeras. Is that right?
Correct. I founded the Alliance Empire on Emerald Dream and Sargeras. Yeah.
And lastly, you were the GM of the Knights Circle, and you capped that out with members. That's 1,000 members.
Originally, the way that it worked, originally the Alliance Empire, we were trying to build it underneath the nose of WSB to combat them. And I really didn't want our name getting out there too much. I didn't want them trying to bring a fight to us before we were ready. And so the name of the guild was the Ninth Circle. When I left to transfer to Sargeras to start that guild, I turned the guild over to Bounties, and we changed the name to the Alliance Empire once it was member capped. So that's where Bounties got the name for his guild, the Ninth Circle.
That's awesome. Bounties, if you don't know, he's been on Twitter. He's a rogue. Is that correct?
Correct. Bounties was a really good dude. He doesn't really play anymore, but he was. I've still got a lot of respect to the guy this day. He's really good at pulling some strings behind the scenes to make World PvP happen. He did really great things with his guild. So I mean, I have nothing negative to say about the guy.
I like Bounties. I think he's always. You call it pulling strings. I call it stirring the pot. He's always moving something around and, causing something to happen. It stinks that he doesn't play anymore. Bounties, if you are watching, you definitely got to come back to WoW. I personally miss you. I think that would be a great interview. You turned the guild over to Bounties. I guess now that we're in the future, is that a decision that, you're okay with, or do you regret it in some ways? Could you explain a little bit?
I don't regret it, because I think that while he was there, he did do great things. It was when others started getting involved. What was his name? Boobonic. When that kid got involved, that's when it kind of turned into a shit show. That's kind of when I made my exit from the Alliance Empire, which, you know, they ended up taking it back from Boobonic, which was a great idea. But no, while Bounties was there, while Bounties was in charge, you know, things moved fluidly. We communicated very well. We had a few, you know, differences of opinion as far as how a guild should be ran. But other than that, like, I think that Bounties did a phenomenal job.
So you built that up, you gave it over to him, you're cool with that. And now another thing too, the Devil's Den. You had made that guild, and then you turned that over to other players as well. Why did you turn that guild over to other players? And again, same question. Are you happy with the state of it, or any regrets?
That is kind of a regret. Devil's Den, like, we were doing some really great things there. We had pretty much the entire officer corps that we had gutted from D7. Shout out to Sparta, no offense. But we had pretty much gutted their entire officer corps, and we had something really good going. And we had a few officers there and a co-GM that thought that they could run the guild better than I could. And I try to be a pretty humble guy, so I afforded them the opportunity to try. I told them when I left, you know, I don't think that you're going to be able to do with this guild what I can, but, you know, I'm going to allow you to try. And so I didn't slander their name. I didn't rob their guild bank. I just turned over the reins and I left. And now, you know, almost 2 years later, they've ran into a hole in the ground. They're no longer relevant. They're no longer around.
But you've started your own thing now, which is Bellatorum Unita.
Bellatorum Unita is the first guild that I ever founded back in 2012 when I first started playing, and it's always been close to my heart. It's always been my baby. And so the guild was sitting dormant on the Echo Isle server, and I talked to what's my now co-GM Barndoor, and I was like, you know, we should just move this guild over here. And so we moved it over here, and me and him both took a break for about 4 or 5 months. And so the guild sat on ED, and it was dormant. And me and him were talking on Facebook one day, and we're like, you know, we should, you know, try to do something with that guild, you know, go back to WoW, start playing again. And so we did, and we started recruiting, and we've had, as far as officer corps go, we have a fantastic officer corps. We've got a lot of great players that have done phenomenal things. I mean, we're 1 week into BFA, and they've already completed every single mythic that's available. You know, we're pushing 2,300 MMR as a guild. You know, we've got the raid team. We've got, you know, the raid BG team. I mean, they're doing phenomenal.
We're just kind of talking about, like, your guild, and right now it seems like it is doing very, very well. You said you had 80 members online, and all of them, if not 99% of them, were already level 120, and the expansion came out just a few days ago.
Correct. We're sitting right this second. We're sitting at 82 members online. Probably 99% of them are level 120. There may be 1 or 2 level 119s, but the majority of them are 120.
Is your goal as a guild to, like, do PvE stuff, or are you, like, diehard PvPers? I guess if I was someone trying to join, what would I expect?
As a GM, I feel like it's my duty to try to cater to the wants and needs of the members. And so whenever I get an overall general consensus at our guild meetings and what direction it is that they're wanting to go, that's what I try to do for us. I've got officers that are PvE officers because that's what they're interested in. They like PvE, they like raiding, they like pushing mythic pluses. I tell them when you're recruiting, you recruit for what it is that you like to do. So you need to be spam recruiting trade chat for PvE players. If you're a PvP officer, you like rated BGs, you need to be recruiting rated BG players. Me personally, I like World PvP. It's why I came to ED. And so I recruit people who like World PvP. I don't know if people know it right now. We were the first Alliance guild to go into the new Horde capital in Zandalar, and we took the place over. Strangely enough, there wasn't a whole lot of Horde there, but we held the place for a little bit, chilled, took some screenshots, and then glided off into victory.
Oh, that's cool. I'm definitely going to try to post some of those screenshots, so if there's some kind of link somewhere, I'll
absolutely. They're on mine and Barndoor's Twitter.
Okay, cool. I'll grab those links, and that way we can check it out. Do you plan on staying on Emerald Dream for a while? It does sound like this guild started on another server, Echo Isles, but it's been brought here now. And is Emerald Dream your home, would you say?
Emerald Dream is home. Like I know that we've got a lot of toxic personalities on this server, especially if you're involved in the Twitter stuff. But for the most part, like I came to ED for the World PvP, and we've got guilds like ISR, and we've got guilds like WSB 2.0. We've got all these great rivalries on this server that that's why I came here. Like, we've got all these great personalities, and while you do have a few toxic personalities here, most of the people are genuinely good people. You know, people like Shadow, people like Raynosh. I'm not gonna say people like Andrew because fuck that guy. But we've got some really great players on this server and people that I genuinely enjoy interacting with.
I love this server. You know, there's always stuff going on. You know, between some people pulling strings in the back and other people stirring the pot, and, you know, world PvP going on. So do you, you'll just continue to grow the guild here, but do you, as far as like your guild guidelines go, is there, you said that it's kind of like whatever you're interested in. So pretty much any kind of player could join your guild, essentially. We
try to offer content to all types of players, be it you like raiding, you like mythic pluses. I mean, our guild is the home of the #1 rated mythic player on server as far as healers go, and he's ranked number 20 in the world. His name's Toto Master. He's one of our core officers. The guy is phenomenal. We're home to 2,300 rated players. Barndoor, phenomenal. He's my co-GM. Probably one of the best human beings I've ever played with. I don't know if any of you guys have ever had the chance to interact with this guy, but he's just a genuinely good human being. And every now and then you'll catch him talking shit on Twitter, especially where the shit is due. But for the most part, man, he's out to help anybody that he can. And he's just a genuinely good person.
That's awesome. I gotta get some links. I'll check them out on like the Armory page and see if I can get their profiles up. I am Horde. You are Alliance. Is there any chance that you guys would come over to Horde sometime this expansion or maybe in the foreseeable future?
Me and Barndoor have discussed it. There was a time where, because I'm all about being the underdog. I like being the underdog. I was an underdog against WSB. I'm probably going to end up being an underdog against ISR. I've seen the roster numbers they're putting up. They're putting up some phenomenal numbers. Me and Barndoor had discussed it because we had gotten a little bored with the apathy that can take place on Alliance side ED. And we kind of felt like if we went to Horde, who would stand up and fight for the Alliance? I mean, you've got the Alliance Empire, and I love those guys. I love Cad. I love Death. I love Charlie, even though he's not with TAE anymore. He's with OK now, and that's great. We fully support his decision here. But we felt like there's a reason my tune's called Devil. I'm not I'm not politically correct. While you've got those guys over in TAE, they try to be politically correct. We're the type that Horde bring a fight to us, we're going to bring a fight, and we've got no problem telling you to fuck off.
That's awesome. Outside of the Blizzard universe, I guess you could say, is there any other games that you guys play, or like first-person shooters, or is it mainly just a WoW-orientated environment?
I was never really a video game guy. I got into WoW because my little brother played. I saw him playing, and I thought, that kind of looks interesting. I know that a lot of us are not your stereotypical WoW nerds. Barndoor, for instance, is a bodybuilder. Me, I do competition powerlifting. So, like, I was never really into the video game side of things, and I got into this because of my little brother, watching him play, and it just developed from there. And now, I play PUBG every now and then, a little Madden, a little Need for Speed, things like that. I like a lot of the racing sims, but no, WoW is pretty much my main go-to drug of choice.
That's awesome, and I love this game. I've played this game since like pretty much its launch in 2004, like a week after I got it. How long have you been playing exactly? It does sound like you're an experienced player. Is there an expansion that you started in?
I started towards the end of Kata. Had no clue what I was doing. Like, I didn't know anything about servers. So I think I ended up just going to the first server that was clicked on, and it was Echo Isles. It was a dead PvE server.
Is that where your brother was?
I don't even know where my brother was playing, to be honest. He doesn't even play anymore. But I was total, like, I didn't know anything about the game. I didn't know anything about add-ons. Somebody said something to me about add-ons, and I was like, what is that? Like, I had no clue. But I had this mentor, if you will, that kind of adopted me in the game, and it was this 74-year-old lady. Her name is Miss Barnes, one of the sweetest people I've ever played with, and I still play with her today, years later. And she pretty much, she could tell you where a blade of grass in the Grand was, and she has pretty much been my go-to person about any question in the game to this day. And she's still an officer of our guild right now.
That is awesome. If she is watching right now, shout out to her. There are other players just like her. They may not be your typical gamer in that sense, But, you know, she loves the game, and, you know, I'm really happy that you guys, you know, stuck together, and, you know, she still plays today. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, she's just an awesome person.
Outside of your guild, would you say you have any partnerships, or if things got a little rough, you know, maybe out world PvPing, are there any other guilds that maybe you could call to or ask for help?
We still have a lot of dealings with the Alliance Empire, Zulit, Cadigan, Death, you know, Sinjara, all those guys. I still have a tremendous amount of respect and love for those guys, even though I'm not in that guild. And so they know that if they have a world PvP engagement, you know, they need help from us, we're there. That's happened multiple times, and vice versa. You know, when we've needed help, they've shown up. I don't really do a whole lot of the whole cross realm thing, but I have always been under the impression for myself that we will do whatever it takes to win in world PvP. I've always ran my guild of I don't really give a shit what your opinion is. I'm going to do what I've got to do for my guys to win, be it using SGI, phase lines, I've never used a multi-boxer, but if I had that option, I'd probably use one because the way Emerald Dream is, it's fine for us to do something, but if you do it, we're going to talk shit about it. And that's kind of the irony of this server. But I've always stuck to my guns of I'll do whatever I've got to do to win.
I respect that, man. Like at the end of the day, like it's a competitive personality, and I not so much in WoW, but definitely in Overwatch. Like I am here to win. That is my goal, and you know it's got to be done at any cost. And I can respect that, man. You're a straight up guy, and you know, you tell it how it is. We had a good conversation before this interview. Overall, I think you're a great player. I think you're very experienced, and you know, you run your guild as you see fit, and I respect that at the end of the day, man. If a player is watching this right now and they do want to join your ranks, should they reach out to you on Twitter, or would it be okay for them to message you in game on Emerald Dream?
Absolutely, absolutely. Me or any one of my officers, we're always looking for fresh blood, especially people who are wanting to actually be a part of something great. They're wanting to contribute. Absolutely. I mean, you can find me on Twitter at devilx_Bella, and you can. I'll even throw my real ID out there. It's devilx #11646. So for anybody interested, absolutely.
Right on it. I will have all that information down in the description. So if you do want to reach out to him, go for it. Very, very cool guy. Very, very cool player. I appreciate you making some time for me, man. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody watching, I will catch you next time. See ya.